Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today. We're joined by Bloomberg's Denitsa Sakova. Denitsa, what are you looking at?
Let's start with vaccine and biotech stock because these are some of the biggest losers today. Of course, we have the big news about the resignation of the FDA official Peter Marks, who's been very supportive, and all the analysts are saying that this is significantly negative for the space, calling him one of the biggest FDA advocates of cell and gene therapies. We see red all over the board. If you look at Moderna, it's down about 12%, year to date more than 30%, and all those vaccine providers, Novavax, BioNTech. If we look at gene therapy, those stocks are seeing big losses today. Sarepta is leading the losses, down 9% today and nearly 50% year to date. Really big losses. Of course, the resignation comes as Mark cites friction with Robert F. Kennedy, who has been a long-time vaccine critic. So we're seeing a lot of tension, but obviously he was one of the big, Peter Marks was one of the big advocates. So analysts are seeing a lot of pressure, downward pressure for the industry going forward.
What about Tesla? It's down 5%, leading the losses in Magnificent Seven. What's new?
Yes, exactly. This is another stock that's been heavily impacted by the administration. We saw it rolling on the way up after the election. Now we're seeing a strong drop. Stock is down 6% today. And if you believe it, the year-to-date loss is 40%. So obviously we have the auto tariffs coming up. And we had that discourse that Tesla is protected because the vehicles are made in America, so it won't be impacted. But now we're seeing Wedbush analyst Dan Ives saying that the company could still take a hit because of the auto parts. We're seeing Stifel cut their targets to $455 from $474. So there is a lot of negative sentiment in the industry. And what we're seeing from consumers, obviously we're seeing a lot of protests, and sentiment has been souring for quite some time. There have been over 200 Tesla takedown protests. So that's definitely weighing on the stock, which is seeing a really, really rough start year to date.
All right, what else you got for us?
Let's check again with kind of the Goose, because that's a very interesting one where we see the impact of the tariffs and risks and retail sentiment at the same time. The stock tumbled about as much as 9% earlier. It comes after Barclays cut the stock to underweight. It comes, of course, we're talking about those tariffs. Goldman Sachs actually put it as one of the stocks that will be most impacted, retail stock most impacted by the tariffs. And if we look at their how much it's coming from Canada, it's about 80% of their sourcing. It comes after a tough Q3 earnings report. So it's really a cocktail of fundamentals not doing so well, macro picture not looking so well. And if we look at the analyst ratings, there is only one buy rating for the stock, which obviously had quite a few really strong years. But today it's down 20% year to date. So rough start.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.